keeping it real, which Chicago neighborhood do you feel is currently the most overrated? Jake, start us off here.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can keep going on the same path as like which of some of the areas are being like almost too effectively marketed by some of these you know bigger mid-market brokers, right? Like a lot of these out-of-state buyers are coming in and buying things in what they think is Bronzeville or what's being labeled as Bronzeville when it's really not, right? So I think we're seeing stuff in Washington Park that is trading at a Bronzeville cap rate, and it makes me, cringe a little bit sometimes. So I'm a little worried about some of these multifamily buildings like south of 51st and west of the park that are being, traded at like 250 per unit, even when they're not, super updated. And maybe the cap rates make sense because the rents are being, are being paid down there. I just don't think people are underwriting the correct amount of expense and vacancy. So thus, I'm going to say the south part of Bronzeville, the fringe areas in that location are just a little bit too overhyped. And then I'm going to, a lot of my house hack clients and people that come to me that really are just clinging to the northwest side as much as they can. They don't want to open their eyes to, let's say, like Marshall Square or Pilsen or even the good parts of Bronzeville, right? So I'll also say that like the west side of Avondale, to me, when I talk to people that are like, let's find a 2 to 4 unit at Avondale, there's a huge difference being a couple blocks west of Milwaukee than being, east of Milwaukee or even Kedzie for that fact. Like once you get over that direction, you're in like Belmont Gardens, right? So I see a lot of people saying like, I found a good deal in Avondale, and I look at it and it's a 3 flat for, $675, and it's barely updated, and it's, still like a half a mile from, or even a mile from the train stop. So just being a little too gung ho about just being on the northwest side in general, I like to rein people in just a little bit up there.
Yeah. So that's an area I like to play in. I agree with you. I haven't bought anything there in probably 18 months because even off market pricing is ridiculous. Like I think it's a fine area to own in, but like it's silly. I look at my comps, so when I go get an appraisal, and I'm very happy in that regards because I'm seeing comps that are just like, holy crap! Like how did this demand, 2-unit unfinished basement? Like how is that possibly 575? Like it just doesn't make sense to me. So it's great for the stuff I have there, and it's very hard to steal there because people are paying so high.
Get the same rent. Yeah, go to Portage Park a mile, or Belmont Craig a mile left, and get the same building for $450 and get the same rent, right? So,
and actually closer to the blue line, right? Like because the blue line goes on an angle. You're actually close. It's actually easier to get downtown, even though you're getting further away.
But use the income approach. I think up in those areas, I think where you get some of these overrated, neighborhoods, or when people start to focus on just the sales comp approach, it is still residential, right? So that's what lenders are going to use. But let's still look, realistically at what the rents are going to be. And if you can get the same amount of rent in a neighborhood that's similar, but, a little bit further away for $100,000 less, let's consider it.
Yeah, I like that answer. Blake, same question. What do you feel is overheated right now?
Cool. I'll take, as far as overheated, I think taking an approach from just like being in this business for 10, 12 years full time, especially for out-of-state investors or just knowing your area and market. I think getting into, the south side, right? The prices have really increased over the last 2 or 3 years. And I think if out-of-state investors coming in, they want to go in and buy in these markets because they look good and high returns. Back when I used to operate a turnkey business or help operate a turnkey business, that was always my concern, like on the management side of things. So I think really just from investors looking at it, like you got to come in and know the areas and understand, like right now, that's the biggest area that's been probably at the biggest appreciation and values. But I still think seeing properties trade and like what's that going to look like in the next 12 months. And you just have to have the right team. It's more management intensive from a property management standpoint. I think a lot of times people think they can just come in and buy a property and rental, you just collect rent every month, and it works, right? Like you have to really be able to manage the property management side and have a good team in place. So yeah, that's kind of my feedback on those areas. Yeah.
We'll go all the way around the horn on this one. Matt, what's overheated for you?
Yeah, another good question. It's kind of hard. I'm a big believer just personally. You know, part of this you got to take with a grain of salt because, well, everybody's got their own unique perspective on what makes a good investment. And for me, I'm always surprised to see some of the stuff that trades in some of the Western neighborhoods, like some stuff in West Town. Like they get these big rents for these small apartments, tiny bedrooms, and they're, you know, older vintage product, and they get the rents. There's the demand to support it. The values are high. For me personally, something doesn't check for me. Just to own it long term. They're historically good neighborhoods. They return well. Again, the demand's there, but those markets to me it's hard for me to wrap my head around it when, again, you could buy something in a north side neighborhood at a lower per door, you know, get similar rents, and in my opinion, you get better product. And for me, you know, I own some apartments too, and it's a big deal for me to feel like what I'm buying will not just be a flash in the pan product. It'll just always have renters that are going to want to live there, you know, slightly bigger units, bigger bedroom sizes. And I think you just get less turnover with that kind of product. You know, so it's a hard question. Everyone's got a different take on it. There's a lot of positive reasons why those are good neighbors to invest in. But for me, it never really made sense how the product out there for vintage units are trading in the low to mid 200 the door for what it is, right?